sense from the ground up. But the lower portion of the building we're coming along now is over the switching tracks for the trains down below. They couldn't spare room for supports columns, so it's hanging from the top down in air. Take a look at these 5 vertical lines that go from the roof of this lower portion all the way down. Those 5 vertical lines, the only parts of that entire lower section that touch the ground. And each of those 5 vertical lines is attached to a giant X-brace steel truss that sits on the top of that lower portion of the building. Those trusses hang or cantilever that portion of the building in air. Having a little trouble with the concept of it, just think of a diving board over water. That's the general idea. And to our right, we have 2 North Riverside Plaza. The first building, built over railroad air rights from 1929, now operates as one of the hubs for the Chicago Water Taxi, operated by this company, Wandela. And next on our right, 2 identical black steel and glass boxes coming up the Gateway Plazas 1 and 2. These buildings look rather like that second building on our tour, in the international style. Less is more, if you recall. These buildings not designed by that world-famous architect Mies van der Rohe. They were designed by some of his students that he taught here in our city. Students were working for an architecture firm known as Skidmore, Owings & Merrill. They are Chicago-based, hugely prevalent around the world. Just to give an idea of how much Skidmore, Owings & Merrill designs in our city, they're responsible for the Gateway Plazas 1 and 2, as I just mentioned. They also designed the Gateway Plazas 3 and 4. Skidmore, Owings & Merrill also designed the Hartford Plazas 1 and 2. They're also responsible for the Trump Tower we saw earlier, and they also designed what was for almost 25 years the tallest building in the world, the Sears or Willis Tower. As we clear this next bridge, we're going to turn between these next 2 buildings and we'll see the entire western face of that massive building. Tallest building in the world from 1974 until 1998. It remained the tallest building in the United States until recently surpassed by the Freedom Tower in New York City, and it remains the tallest building in Chicago at 1,454 feet. Or, if you prefer meters like most of the world, 442 meters. This building has almost as many elevator cars as it has floors. 110 floors, 104 elevator cars. And if you've got the guts, you can take one of those 104 elevator cars all the way up to the 103rd floor and step out on one of our 4 glass sky decks hanging off of the western face of this building.
Yeah.
There's people in those boxes taking pictures of you. You might as well take pictures of them. Seems fair. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is usually the point of my tour where I say something to the effect of, it's just 1.5 inches of glass keeping the folks in those boxes from joining us here on the boat. But that does seem a little close to home, as maybe some of you have heard. Just about 2 weeks ago, one of those sky decks broke. It cracked, and I'm not kidding. Now, it was just the protective layer of glass that shattered. The family that was standing in it at the time remained unharmed, save for simultaneous heart attacks. With that said, the skydecks have been repaired, and they're completely safe and secure, and make sure to visit them while you're in our city. What else am I supposed to say? We'll get another view of that beautiful building out from Lake Michigan, and I'll tell you much more about it. All right, folks, as we make our way back on the south